We're going to stay out in the Midwest and head out to the dry land of Lubbock, Texas, West Texas, where the Cincinnati Bearcats hit the road to take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. I believe this is the first time we've talked about these two programs in the 2024 season, Brad. We're excited for this matchup. 8 o'clock kickoff on ESPN2, and Texas Tech currently favored with the home field advantage at Jones AT&T Stadium. Wow, Jerry Jones owns about everything in this country. Texas Tech favored by 3 in this one, and both of these programs have had their ups and downs over the last few years. Cincinnati obviously making it to the playoff. Texas Tech with McGuire at head coach has done a phenomenal job with what he's had to work with. He's really help that program stay afloat. Brad, I'll turn it over to you. Thoughts on this Big 12 matchup, which is weird to think about with Cincinnati, but nonetheless, who comes out on top in Lubbock?
Yeah, absolutely. Very weird to think about this matchup being a Big 12 game. Where it's still taking a lot to get used to. Starting off with Cincinnati, really impressed with the jump that Cincinnati has made here year 2 under Scott Satterfield. They have been they've made improvements. I mean, 3-1 come to this game and reasonably should be 4-0. They lost that one to Pitt by 1 point. I'm impressed with their quarterback, Brendan Sorsby, over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, and no picks, guys. He's taking care of the football. Their running back, Corey Kenner, over 400 yards. He's looked good. Scott Satterfield, everywhere he's been, he's a program builder, and he just does a good job. They're disciplined. They're going to play, smart football. They're going to be explosive on offense, and that fits Cincinnati this year. And then jumping over to Texas Tech, Nate, you mentioned a guy that I know we're both really high on, Joey McGuire. I really, really like this guy. And I was, reading so many of the preseason magazines and articles. Texas Tech, man, right there on the verge of busting through in this new look Big 12. And I think that's fair. They are considered, that Texas Tech staff is the best recruiting staff. They had last year the best, the highest ranked recruiting class in the Big 12, and they just need some time to develop. That coaching staff seems good, but also to stay healthy. The last couple of years, they've lost their starting quarterback at some point in the season, and Baron Morton is healthy this year, 12 touchdowns to 2 picks. He has been fantastic, and guys, you guys know I'm big on talking about up-and-coming coordinators, and Texas Tech has got an up-and-coming offensive coordinator in Zach Kitty. He came from Western Kentucky, but he runs this air raid offense, and I think he's going to get some. I honestly think he could get some head coaching offers at the end of this year, or even maybe a bigger job as offensive coordinator. But the thing that separates to me, this Texas Tech offense, and really what makes them go is, you think about this air raid offense where they're going to put, 4 wide receivers, 5 wide receivers on the field at times. They have got such a physical running back in Taj Brooks. This guy was unbelievable last year, and he's been really good this year. The thing that stands out is he's 230 pounds. You don't think about an air raid offense having this power running game, and he brings that. For Texas Tech this year, guys, they've been somewhat suspect on defense. They gave up 51 in the opener to Abilene Christian. They were able to win that one. They really, really didn't look good against Washington State, but they've bounced back very, very nicely. And I thought it was a really, really big one, them beating Arizona State last week and really playing good defense. So that being said, I'm taking the Red Raiders in this one. I'm just a huge fan of Joey McGuire, the culture that he's building. I think they win this one by 14 points. I think this is an up-and-coming team. I don't think they compete for the Big 12 this year, but I think next year they're going to be in consideration. And I think the Red Raiders are going to win this one and improve to 4-1.
Wow. Red Raiders coming out hot, according to Brad. Cincinnati fans might think otherwise, but Rooster, I'll turn it over to you. Thoughts on this Big 12 matchup, and like I asked Brad, who comes out in Lubbock?
Well, as Brad mentioned, both quarterbacks this season have been playing excellent football. So we know both teams are going to be able to throw the ball. So at the end of the day, I hate to keep repeating myself in these picks, but it's going to come down to the run game. And I would take Taj Brooks over Kiner every day of the week. Taj Brooks is just an absolute monster. And, something we may be forgetting, Cincinnati may be getting a little PTSD pulling up to AT&T Stadium, throwing back to the Cotton Bowl from Alabama. We may just see a little flashback when Taj Brooks, just like Najee Harris, just jumps straight over all the Cincinnati defense, just walks his way right to the end zone because Texas Tech is going to take the dub in this game.
Well, Ross, this is a different AT&T Stadium. I hope you realize that. But nonetheless, it is probably owned by the Jones family. But y'all bring up a lot of great points. Both quarterbacks playing well. Both coaches in their own regard have turned these programs around. When Luke Fickell left Cincinnati, we thought they were done for. Then Satterfield comes in, like you mentioned, Brad, and keeps it afloat. And same thing with Joey McGuire. Mike Leach put Texas Tech on the map. He really put his spin, RIP to Mike Leach. He really put his spin on what this Texas Tech program was about. They were just different. And as a former, Texas fan growing up, it was hard seeing that, but looking back, it was very special. So you want to see and root for programs like Texas Tech and like Cincinnati, the Blue Bloods, the Pitts, the West Virginias, and so on and so forth. I don't want to get into an Oprah episode, but nonetheless, let's keep it to football. These two programs are coming in fighting for a Big 12 spot. Both teams off to a hot start. It really just comes down to who wins the line of scrimmage. And to me, that's Texas Tech. I just think that they're just slightly better up front. I think Joey McGuire is going to have his team ready to play on Saturday in Lubbock, a night game. So it's really, really going to be rocking in Jones AT&T Stadium. Such an electric atmosphere. If you get a chance to watch this game, please do. I know a lot of eyes will be on the big game in Tuscaloosa, but if you get a chance to flip it over to this game, you're going to want to see it. It's a really cool atmosphere. The black horse with the red raider riding out of the entrance. It's a really cool tradition in college football. So I hope you'll check it out. But give me the Texas Tech Red Raiders, guns up. Be sure to subscribe down below and let us know who you think will come out in this Big 12 matchup in Lubbock, Texas.